again during the time where people are having a hard time making bread. So the best video on Triller just got $1,000. So
Nice.
what my piece in Triller. So I actually am an investor in Triller. So,
Okay.
yeah, thank you, bro. So it made me like want to help the platform as well while helping myself and while helping somebody. So everything is just, you know, as much as I can.
That's what's happening. Now, me and you have had this conversation many a time where I felt like I had a comment which some people agreed with and some people tried to come for me for,
Yeah.
where I said Afrobeat has, for the most part, kind of taken the lane of dancehall, not replaced dancehall, but it's kind of taken, like, especially as far as the clubs and what's playing in the clubs, it's
Yeah.
taken over like that lane.
Yeah.
And some people like, no, yes, no. I wanted to know, did you get to see Beanie versus Bounty Killer?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
They did a versus live from Jamaica.
Ooh. Who won? Who won?
Everybody won. You need to go watch that. That might have been one of the best, if not the best verses that they've had. They were in the same room.
Oh, that's dope.
So they were like performing, like one would go and then the next one would go. It was really amazing. But to get back to where I started, you didn't see it. How do you feel about the success of Afrobeat now, our current format? I mean, we even had V103 International right here in Atlanta right now.
I think that Afrobeat definitely adds an element. I think it's like cousins to dancehall. I think that Afrobeat is kind of the new reggae in a way too. Like the way it's respected, the way people are vibing to it, the way things are happening so fast, and it's growing at the same pace that reggae grew, you know, in America too. So it's beautiful. I don't think music replaces music. You know, I think it's just coexist with each other. You know, and I think they're very similar. We all African at the end of the day, so we are very, very similar.
Right. Without question. What's next for you, like in front of the camera? Because lots of people were happy and a few people were unhappy that Dre is out of here.
Yeah. So the next thing I got is Coming to America too.
Okay.
Yes. So we filmed that right before Corona hit. I got a dope role in it, man. It's really funny. You know, for me, the fact that I could jump from a legendary drama like Power into a legendary comedy like Coming to America in the same year is a blessing, you know. So I've literally, as an actor, been surrounded by like legend Hall of Fame actors in 1 year's concentrated time. So I learned a lot last year, bro. Like I learned how to be a better comedian. I learned how to be a better dramatic actor. So all in all, it's coming together, bro.
I read an article that said, had they not made Dre so unlikable, that you would have been a natural spinoff.
Ooh. At the end of the day, it's business. Whatever they
Would you have liked to have the Dre spinoff, though?
You know, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say, I don't give it, right? But I think that there were talks about a Dre spinoff for about a year and a half. And last minute, they felt that to do the character justice, it was best to end it that way. So I agree, because I personally didn't want to stay in a role for another 4 or 5 years and play Dre for 10 years. Like that would have really just made my career that. And you know, they try to pigeonhole what they really don't understand. So for me to do 5 years of it was just enough that it got me to where I need to go. It showed what I could do as an actor. It got my music on the platform now. It's a running machine, you know. So it worked out perfectly. But there was, for anybody and everybody, there was a Dre spinoff in the works for a very long time.
That might have been interesting, because they would have every tuned in to hate on you every week.
I think they would have switched it or something, but that way.
Have you recovered from that? Was that hard to be so hated? I mean, your character. Like,
yeah.
People really disliked you, bro.
Yeah, you know, for a while, for the first 2 seasons, it was tough because I wasn't used to that. Like, everybody that I kick it, everybody that meets me, it's all love. So then when you start hearing things from people that you don't know, they're like, man, I can't stand you, bro. And like, you're like, what's up, them? You know, I forget that it's like, oh, Dre. Okay. So, and for a while, I didn't have consistent music out. So everybody at that time was like, "Oh, I heard he could sing. He could sing." But now the numbers are not lying. You know what I mean? So now you know what's going on. Now you see the butterscotch skits. Now you see Coming to America. So now it's just like, oh wow, he really is multi-talented. So the conversation changed, you know, and it was never that anymore.
We're live inside the Verizon Artist Lounge, B103 Atlanta, Big Tig, Rotimi.
Yes, sir.
Clearly, the power look was a great look. It was a power look, pun intended.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest hurdle for you professionally outside of that? I mean, because you're doing this, you want to do other things. What has been the hardest and the biggest hurdle for you so far, career-wise?
I think the biggest hurdle for me was initially trying to break the actor singer thing. I think that was the thing. Everything as an actor, I've been blessed to have it at the right time. Um, Before everything, oh man, I was living in a motel in LA for 3 months at a time, you know, trying to get a job. So I guess that side of it, the growing up in it, but as a celebrity, as an artist, as an actor, I think in it was probably figuring out where to go, knowing that power was gonna end, and figuring out what type of artist I want to be and what record I'm gonna come out with. So that's why we took our time with putting out a love rhythm, you know. So we made sure, okay, if we're gonna make this transition, if we're gonna go and be global and be multi-talented and stand in the room and say I do both and I do both very well,
Right.
that kind of was the hardest part. And once we kind of got love rhythm going and started seeing like, oh wow, this is love, this is wow, and that's when it kind of was. But before Power, bro, it was definitely the 3 months off and on. 2013, 2014 was very hard, man. Like with losing my agent at the time, losing my management at the time, records that I did and got that were getting stolen because I didn't
What
sign
records? What records?
records that I did. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? No, but there was records that I did that was being taken away, you know, and so it was a tough time, but you know, the strong prevail.
Amen. Um, if you could change one thing about Rotimi, what would you change?
Ooh, if I could change one thing, I think I think if I could change one thing, it'd probably be knowing that I could act a little earlier. I
Mm.
think after college, I found out that acting was a possibility after college. It wasn't a plan of mine. So in 2012, I was just an artist trying to get money and went in trying to get a commercial, and I ended up booking my first audition with a major show called Boss. So I was thrown into the acting world and happened to be dope at it. But if I wish maybe if I would have started maybe like 15, 16, you know, that would have been cool too. But I don't regret it at all though.
It kind of worked out the way it's supposed to work out.
Exactly. You asked me something, you know, but actually, like, I wouldn't change anything. I didn't want to give you that answer. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
We've been talking about you taking me as like your baggage handler with you back to Africa. I just want to go. I want to see Nigeria.
Yes. Come, bro.
I need to go.
Yeah.
But for the average person
Yeah.
in America who has never been to Africa, like myself, has never been to Nigeria.
Yeah.
How can you explain the experience as best you can?
Man, the air is different. The quality of people is a bit richer. You know, I think that not even monetarily, just people. You know, the most bummy person in the street walking in Nigeria or Africa or wherever will still have some type of royalty to them. I've never been to a place that I'll be like, yo, this guy doesn't even realize that he's swagged up and it's just a natural thing. And then a lot of places there, people don't even realize that they are struggling because it's filled with love, you know, and also when you have money in Africa, don't get it twisted. When you have money in Africa, you have money and you live way better than America. Just
Wow.
don't, you know. And so that's the miseducation that they send out. But like No, it's if you if you if you have some money, even if you don't, you still enjoy it, and you'll understand the simple things are really what matters, you know. And the most creative people, the most naturally gifted people, and yeah, just a blessed place, man.
I know you can't speak for everyone over there, but
Yeah,
just trying to take the temperature. We're going through a lot here at the crib with Black Lives not really mattering.
right,
Uh,
right.
um, what is the perception from Africa or Nigeria when they, because clearly there's international news that travels, especially when they the riots and things and all of these things. What is how does America look, or what does the black man in America look like to Nigerians? How do they feel, like what do they say, like when they read the paper or they see this come across on social media, like what like they like what?
Well, you know, I live with someone who's from Tanzania, you know, and so we have these conversations. Sometimes you can see how shocked she is when she sees like the racism that happens here.
Mm.
You know, like it's just like, wow, this is what that person's saying. This is what the cop is doing to this person. Gosh, you know, and it's disheartening. You know, like in Africa, there's other issues that you deal with where with police corruption is money they take. You know what I mean? It's not racial profiling. You know, and so it's a shock to the system. You know, it's a shock that it's still going on the way it's still going on, but it hit her different when she saw like, wow, this is what they're doing. And you know, you see glimpses of it and you get little clips, but like we'll watch CNN for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and getting the backstory, and you can see it on her face that it's blown away, you know. And so yeah, bro, it's not settling for anybody, and it's wrong, bro. Like it's just a horrible time that I didn't think we would still be dealing with.
As a black man in America, how have you been dealing with it? Because I saw a couple things in the last couple of days, including the brother from New York who made a really passionate speech. He's an advocate, but he was like, "I'm not okay." He's
Yeah,
like, I feel like I'm, and we all, I grew up in the Bronx and I've lived in urban areas my whole time, and when when I see police behind me, I still get a little nervous.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel as a black man in America? Where
Educated you are, you know, nothing, you know, and it's basically you basing what I do by this. It's sad, and it's uncomfortable to be black. Like I realized I had it one time when I was in New York, when I had an apartment in New York, and it's so funny. This happened the other day in Minnesota where the cop or somebody who worked in the office building didn't know that the three kids.
I saw that.
Yeah, so that happened in my own building, and this old lady, man, on the roof, like we were having a roof party, and she didn't know that the roof party was actually my party. So she's like, "What are you doing here? We're setting up." And so she's like, "What are you doing here? How'd you get in?" I said, "The same way you got in." And then she was like, "Can you what room you live?" I said, "No, no, ma'am, I'm not going to tell you that." So she made a complaint to the first floor, and and she didn't know that all of the security, all the people at the front desk are my people that are actually, even when they get off, they're coming up to the party. Like, there's a black man, light skinned guy, blah 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 blah. He's downstairs. Can you please send somebody up to just see where he's from? And they're like, ask him if his name's Rotimi. So they asked, and she was like, "Is your name?" I was like, "Yes." She was so embarrassed, and you can just see that this is not going away, bro. Like it's not. And so that was just one of those moments that I felt it. It didn't matter what I did as a person, as an entertainer, nothing. It was just still the same thing.
Wow, that's tough to, you know. Well, hopefully, and I really believe music is one of the universal uniters.
Yeah,
Music brings people together at all times. And even though we have a long way to go in this country,
yeah.
I'm glad that brothers like you are out here doing the right thing, making good music to bring people together.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Yes, indeed. So we got Rotimi in the Verizon Artist Lounge with D103 Atlanta. We got a record with a whole album or EP with Akon on the way. We got new Rotimi on the way.
Yeah.
We got Coming to America 2 on the way. What am I missing?
You got In My Bed, that's right here. In My Bed featuring Wale, that y'all are killing, man. Thank you, man. Thank you to you and Reggie, bro. Like y'all are amazing people, bro. And you know we go back here, so we got that, and then getting into investments and just trying to take care of my family and grow as a man, bro, every day.
Hottest chick in the game.
Hey, wearing the chain. Don't act foolish now. Don't act foolish, brother.
I pay attention, big brother.
Love it. I love it. Yes, sir.
When it's all said and done, whenever that is.
Yes.
How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, that's a great question. I want my legacy to be one of the most gifted people when it came to entertainment, but one of the most God-fearing men, one of the greatest fathers, great family guy. Again, like I tell people all the time, the career is gonna take care of itself. Like I want to be known as one of the most generous, kind people that they've met in this industry, genuinely, and you know, be one of the biggest blessings was my gift, but I want to be known for the blessings that I give more so.
Well, you've been blessing hearing us in Atlanta. We support you. Like our B103 launch party was nuts.
Yes, sir.
You Coffee, Hood Celebrity was a big team day.
Yeah, crazy.
We appreciate your artistry. If you want to say anything to all of the Rotimi fans lurking in here right now, please say something.
Man, I just want to say thank y'all for loving me the way.
No. You don't say it in that accent there. You say it in the other one.
Ladies, and more ladies. If you're hearing heart signs, you can't say anything.